Hey, what's up, everybody? How's everyone doing tonight? My name is Nick Push. Thank you for tuning in. I have not done a live stream in quite a while, but it is October 6th. Yes, it's already October, and I am excited to talk some Halloween. So let me just break down how we're going to do this tonight. So I am going to kind of give a background for those of you that are new to the channel on just a little bit of my feelings on each movie in the franchise. And then I'm just going to answer some of the questions in the chat, talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, Halloween and horror related, and go from there. If you're not new to the channel, I'll keep it quick with my thoughts on each of the movies. I'll stop on H5 and probably, tell you guys how much I love that movie. But as soon as we get through all the movies, we'll get to the questions in the chat and go from there. So real quick, just a quick recap of this channel. So it's obviously called Nick Push's Horror Channel. I talk 99% of the time about horror movies, and 90% of that is the Halloween franchise. That's just my passion and my love. But eventually we're going to break off and start talking about some other horror movies, and, we'll get into some other movies once we get away from the Halloween season. But for the most part, we're always going to talk horror, and of that, probably mostly Halloween, just because, like I said, that's what made me fall in love with the genre of horror, and that's what I can't get enough of. So if you like that shit, thanks for tuning in. If you don't like that shit, also thanks for tuning in. But feel free to stick around. So let's get right into it. So going right through the franchise, the OG, Halloween 1978. There's nothing I can say that hasn't already been said about it. Look, it's a masterpiece. You guys know this. You know my thoughts on it. I'm not really going to dive too much into why it's a masterpiece. If you're tuning into this channel, you most likely know why it's a masterpiece. Carpenter was brilliant with how he set up everything from the score to the slow burn to, Dean Cundy's lighting. Everything about it is just, it's not perfect because no movie is perfect. But for me, it's the perfect horror movie. It's the one that I come back to more than any other horror movie around. So Halloween 1978, I'm not going to go too much into it right now, because what else can I say that hasn't already been said? Next, obviously, came Halloween 2 in 1981. I'm a Halloween purist at heart. And by that, I mean, the original intent of the franchise was not to even have a franchise. It was just going to be a solo movie that John Carpenter and Deborah Hill made. But with the success, obviously, came the sequel. And I actually am a big fan of Halloween 2. I know it doesn't compare to Halloween 1. I know that, but I'm a big fan of Halloween 2. I love the hospital setting. I'm not a huge fan of Warlock's portrayal of Michael Myers, but I can look past it just because everything else is on point. They upped the gore. The score is probably my favorite score to listen to in the entire franchise. Is it as good as H1's score? No, it's not. But for me, it's more fun to listen to. I listen to it while I'm working. I listen to it while I'm working out. It's just kind of sums everything up that I love about kind of the mood and atmosphere, as another famous YouTuber would say. So yeah, I love the score. I love everything about it. I remember the first time I saw it, I was at my grandma's house, and, it scared the shit out of me. I was 5, 6 years old, something like that. And it just, the franchise grew on me ever since then. Moving along to my thoughts on Halloween 3, no Michael Myers. Young Nick hated this movie the first time he saw it. And let me tell you guys something. Young Nick was a moron. This movie is awesome. Okay. It was underrated for so long because there were people like me who wouldn't give it a chance because there's no Michael Myers in it. But as time has moved on, it has started to develop a cult following. It's almost, I don't want to say it's becoming overrated because it's not there yet, but you can kind of see that, it's finally getting its due. And now, everyone's talking about how much they love it. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this movie. It's just batshit crazy. The plan to kill all the kids wearing a mask. You got Dr. Chalice, who's an awesome character. Just talk about a hero that, you know, they wouldn't have these days. You know, the guy's, you know, a terrible father. For all intents and purposes, he seemed like he was a terrible husband. You know, the only reason he gets involved in this cockamamie scheme to stop Silver Shamrock is because he wants to get fucking laid, which is pretty hilarious, if you ask me. So yeah, but great movie, great ending. You know, that cliffhanger ending is great. Which brings us to Halloween 4. And don't worry, I'm going to get into the chat soon, guys. If you're just tuning in, I'm going through my thoughts on the entire franchise really quickly, and then we're gonna answer some of your questions and see what you guys are talking about. Halloween 4. Starting off with Halloween 4, the opening credits are the best in the entire franchise. Probably the best representation of fall in the Midwest. And I'm a Midwest guy. I'm from Milwaukee. You know, Wisconsin's right on the border of Illinois, but it really just sums up, you know, the creepy vibe of fall in the Midwest. You know, just everything from the score to, you know, just the visual aesthetics and everything about it is just perfect. As far as the movie, other than H2, I still think it is the best sequel besides Halloween 2. The Mask is so bad. I find the Mask so distracting. I hate it worse than any other mask in the franchise, by the way. Even worse than H5, yes. This mask is just so distracting for me sometimes. So that's the main negative that I will say about this movie. But Jamie Lloyd's a great character. It has my favorite version of Dr. Loomis, actually. Yes, I like it. I like Dr. Loomis in this movie even better than his performance in Halloween 1, and mostly just for the daytime scenes. You know, his scenes with Dr. Hoffman, his scenes, you know, when he meets Meeker at the sheriff's station are just fantastic. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the ending of the movie. Just shocking, you know, just absolutely shocking ending, you know, with, you know, Loomis says, no, you know, just classic. You know, it's hard to believe this movie's over 30 years old now. So that's H4. Now we get to the fun stuff. Halloween 5, the movie that ruined the franchise. And I know it has fans out there. If you're a fan of Halloween 5, more power to you. Don't take anything I'm about to say personally, but this movie fucking sucks, okay? It just fucking sucks. It ruined the franchise, if you ask me. There's just so many decisions that happened in Halloween 5 that are just asinine. You know, the director, Dominique, whatever the fuck his name is, Gerard, no disrespect to him, you know, when I say that, but it's just, there was no care. You could tell this was rushed into production. I'm pretty sure it started pre-production while Halloween 4 was still in the theaters, and it shows. You have the clown cops so fucking dumb that they have to play circus music when they arrive. Like, we as an audience are so dumb that we can't tell that they are morons. Tina replaces Rachel, basically, who's killed unceremoniously. I don't mind the decision to kill Rachel, but she should have been the one to sacrifice herself, saving Jamie. I get what they were doing. They wanted to show you that, you know, all bets are off here, but it was terrible. The Myers house, my God, they turned it into a mansion. The Man in Black, you know, which Gerard had no intention. He didn't even know what the guy was going to be. Let's just save it for the next movie. So yeah. And then the ending, you know, where they capture Michael and he's sitting in a jail cell playing with his chains with his mask on. Oh God, terrible. I'm sure I'll get some questions on that, so I won't go into any more detail. All right, so that brought us to Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. This is actually the first Halloween movie that I saw in the theaters. I was 12 years old, I think, when this came out, because this came out in August. It actually was just the 25th anniversary a while back, so it might not have come out in August. September 30th, I think it was. Either way, 25 years ago. It's 25 years old, which is just crazy to me. Obviously, they have a producer's cut, an infamous producer's cut, and a theatrical version. I personally like the theatrical version better, but not much better. I think both versions suck. The score in the producer's cut is a little bit better. You get a little more Loomis in the producer's cut, which is obviously better. But either way, the whole convoluted story with the Curse of Thorn and the droid cult and all kinds of shit like that is just terrible. I know they were written into a corner with the way H5 ended, and they had to come up with something crazy. But man, it was bad. One thing I will give it credit for is I actually don't mind the version of the shape in this. Yes, in some scenes he looks like he's got a little bit of a belly, but he's pretty badass. Is he the same shape from Halloween 1978? No, this is the fifth sequel in the franchise, the fourth one involving Michael Myers. You are not going to get the same type of character that you had in Halloween 1. So I get that. And the Halloween feeling, the autumn feel, I think they nailed in this movie much better than H5. So yeah, I'll give them some credit for that. Speaking of Halloween atmosphere, let's talk Halloween H2O. That is the one thing, not the one thing, but the main thing missing from that movie, besides a good score. But I'm not a big fan of this movie. I know it's a fan favorite. I know a lot of people grew up on it. It's already 22 years old, believe it or not. But I am not a fan of this movie. One thing I will give it credit for is I do like the version that we get of Laurie Strode in this movie. I think it is much more realistic than the version we get in Halloween 2018. But you got no autumn atmosphere. I don't like the portrayal by Chris Durand of the shape. I think if it's not the worst, it's one of the worst. And I'm just not a fan of the movie. Halloween Resurrection would come next, even though they chopped Michael's head off at the end of H2O. Another bad movie. And this is basically what, destroyed the franchise before the zombie reboots. Look, it is what it is at this point. It's, Halloween 8, terrible decision they made to have Laurie cut off the paramedic's head. Some of the scenes in the movie of the shape, there's a couple of shots where you see his silhouette outside the hospital that Laurie is at that are actually pretty well done. That are some of the most well done shots since Halloween 4. But other than that, it's a bunch of kids with cameras on their head walking through the Myers house. So not a fan of this movie. I don't know anyone that is a fan of this movie, but for me, it sucks. So after Resurrection came out in, what was that, 2002? Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think it came out in 2002. 5 years later, Rob Zombie remade the franchise, and Rob Zombie did what Rob Zombie does. Look, I think Rob Zombie is actually an extremely talented director of horror movies. Some of the shots he has are fantastic, but his writing, and you guys have heard this before, his writing is god awful. It's skull fuck this, unnecessary rape scenes, it's just horrible. I don't want the shape to have a backstory that he is mean and killing people and evil because he came from a fucked up family, had a fucked up stepdad, had a slutty sister. I don't care. That is not scary to me. I get that it can be scary to some people because, your neighbor could have that situation and some kid could grow up and be a killer. But that is not what the Halloween franchise, that is not what the shape is all about. So as much as Zombie tried to redeem his awful backstory in the second half of the movie, which is kind of a beat for beat of Halloween 1978, it didn't work for me. I actually know a lot of people that are big fans of this movie, and I think it's because they grew up on it. But for me, like I said, I'm sort of, for the most part, a Halloween purist. So I'm not in the boat that I'm a fan of this movie. And they actually, because they made a shit ton of money, they gave Zombie a chance for a sequel, and they gave him much more creative control. And you got what you got with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Just absolutely awful. Michael is basically a hobo wandering the earth with his mask cut off. And then he is told by his mom, Rob Zombie's wife, Sherry Moon Zombie, and a white horse to start killing again. And this movie fucking sucks. And it killed the franchise again. The one aspect of this movie that I will give them credit for is what's-his-face's portrayal as Sheriff Brackett, Brad Dourif, who voices Chucky. His portrayal when you see, spoiler, Annie die, his daughter die, is some of the best acting in the series. But it doesn't save the goddamn movie. So for me, this movie sucks. And then, as you guys know, 2 years ago in 2018, they kind of rebooted-ish the franchise again, and Jamie Lee was back, and they came up with Halloween 2018, which I have a lot of major issues with, but it was the best sequel in a long, long time. Probably the best sequel for me since Halloween 4. I know there's a lot of people that say that this was the best sequel since Halloween 2. I won't argue with you there. I personally like Halloween 4 better, but still, they got a lot of things right, like the mask, like kind of the autumn atmosphere, but they got some stuff wrong too. There was no stalking scenes. The marketing gave away that big closet scare, you know. But one thing I will give them credit for is they actually cared about the franchise, which is something you couldn't say with Halloween Resurrection, with Halloween 6, and definitely not with Halloween 5. So I will give them credit for that. Obviously, as you guys probably know too, 9 days from now, next week, guys, we were supposed to see Halloween Kills. Can you believe that? It would be next week. My God, that's depressing to say out loud. It's very depressing. But obviously, things happened this year, and a Halloween sequel being delayed is not the worst thing that's happened to any of us regarding COVID-19. So it's going to be an IMAX next year. A year will hopefully go quick, and we will see it next year. So yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know some of your thoughts on the franchise. Do you guys have any interesting thoughts? Do you guys agree with a lot of the shit I said? Do you guys think I'm way off? Are you a huge Halloween 5 fan? I know Mike from Jake Blaster Productions loves Halloween 5. I think I saw him in the chat. So we'll see how he argues with me in a moment here. But yeah, let's see what's going on in the chat now. Let's see. Let me just get this going here, guys. All right. Nightmare Gaming says, I saw your Halloween Ends video and it was pretty cool. Yeah, so I had a unique idea on how they should end Halloween Ends. I just put up a video yesterday. And shameless plug, guys, I am doing a video every single day this month, which is kind of a little daunting. The videos I'm trying to think outside the box on some of these videos. So there might be some kind of crazy ranking videos on different weird things in the Halloween franchise, but I'm trying to think outside the box because, there's so many ranking videos out there, and I've done them all too at this point. But I'm trying to think of some clever shit. So I had some interesting stuff. But one of the videos I was talking about, Nightmare Gaming's talking about, is Halloween Ends. I had a interesting idea that I know they will never do, where Halloween ends with Michael just winning and walking off into the ether or whatever. There's a couple issues with that. The more I think about it, where you're going to have people wanting to see what happens next because everyone's got to know what happens next. But for me, I thought it'd be cool just to kind of have it end uniquely, and have Michael win. And it kind of drives home the point of the original where, evil never dies. You can't kill the boogeyman and stuff like that. Not to mention, speaking of Halloween Ends, how are they going to end that? How are they going to, we know they're probably going to kill off Michael to end this trilogy or quadrilogy. How else can you do it in a unique way? He's been burned, at the end of H2, he was burned at the end of Halloween 2018. He was, gunned down and fell down a mine shaft. In Halloween 4, he was arrested in Halloween 5 and kidnapped by some dumbass guy in black. Halloween 6, he kind of walked off into the ether, I guess you could say, depending on which version you watch. Halloween 7, they cut his fucking head off and he came back. So how do you make a definitive ending? Back in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s. I remember being a kid and I remember saying, why don't they just cut his fucking head off? Why does everyone just shoot him and do that, you know? And then in Halloween 2018, they cut his fucking head off and they still found a way to bring him back. So how can you end Halloween Ends and have it be definitive? That's the question. All right, let's see what else you guys are talking about. Travis and Lena Parsons is a classic after the fact. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Yes, talking about Halloween 3. Yeah, that ending to Halloween 3 is just classic. Chalice, like I said, he's an interesting character because he's not a typical hero. And it just ended on where he couldn't get that third channel off. And it's just great the way they just had an open ending. Did all the kids in the goddamn country die horribly like the kid in that test room? I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if we got a sequel to that movie at some point, or maybe a TV series or something like that. Let's see. Captain Brandon Pumpkin Horror Lover says Halloween 3 is fine and I like 4 elements of it, though it does get its ass kissed a bit. I can't talk. Sorry, guys. It does get its ass kissed a bit too much these days, though. Yeah, I think that's just kind of people overcompensating for it being underrated for so long. And now it's, like I said, it's kind of slowly becoming maybe overrated. It's kind of like the pendulum swinging. It was swung too far to the left, underrated, and now it's started to swing the other way. But it's nice to see it finally getting its due. Jake Blaster Productions. Meeker is the best sheriff. I agree with you there, Mike. Which, by the way, if you guys like Halloween videos, Jake Blaster Productions has a lot of good Halloween videos on his YouTube channel, so check them out. But I agree, Meeker is the best sheriff. I like Brackett as well. The sheriff from 2018 was absolutely pointless. Hawkins should have been the sheriff. But yeah, I liked Meeker a lot. He's my favorite sheriff as well. Let's see what else we got here. Travis and Lana Parsons says, I hope they release the H5 cutscenes. Yes. If you guys remember, God, was that, I don't know how long it was ago. It might have been almost a goddamn year ago, actually. COVID has really screwed up my time frame here. I'm stuck working from home. And time is going very oddly, as I'm sure it is for most of you too. But they came out with, or they came out and said they found some of the lost footage from H5. I believe there was something where there was some doctor death or something like that, was either the Man in Black or the Hermit or something like that. It was some weird shit that I can't remember who said it. It might have been what's his face that played Michael, Don Shanks. See, here we go. Jake Blaster Productions. The clown claps are awesome. See, I knew you're a big fan of those clown claps. I mean, let's see here. Oh, let's see. Oh, no, that's not right. Sorry, this chat is going a little slow, guys. Fly, Eagles, fly. Oh, fly, Eagles. I'm a Cowboys fan, so I shouldn't even play this. I shouldn't even have this chat up there, but that's okay. You guys are in first place now. It says, I love all the Halloween movies and can't stand Dr. Loomis for the remake. Yeah, I don't mind Malcolm McDowell as an actor. I don't think he did a terrible job for the movie or for those remake movies, but I'm not sure what the point of having his character act the way he did was, especially in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, where he's just kind of a greedy, money hungry asshole, I guess you could say. But I guess they wanted to do something different. I personally didn't like it because the Donald Pleasance version of Dr. Loomis is my favorite horror character of all time. His speeches, especially from the original Halloween, are what, made me scared of that movie for the most part. It complemented, the supernatural aspect of Michael Myers, of the shape so well, and it made you kind of think, oh man, what the hell is going on here? So I'm just so I'm just so in love with the version of Loomis that we get in the original series that I wasn't even able to give this version of Loomis a chance. And I'm sure a lot of people are in the same boat. And it's not necessarily McDowell's fault, but it just is what it is. All right, let's see what we got here. Jake Blaster Production says Durand is awful as Myers. Yes, I'm not a fan of him as Myers at all either. Durand played Myers in Halloween H20, and there's just so many different things about his performance that I didn't like. The way he spread his legs, which sounds so minor, but the way he does it just looks so forced. His sit up. I don't know what the hell that was after he, grabbed onto the van and Laurie, he went flying off the van. The way he sat up, it's like he was trying to emulate the sit up from H1, but not even close. So yeah, I am not a fan of that at all either. What do you guys think would be a good way to end Halloween Kills, to set up Halloween Ends? I'd like to know some of your guys' thoughts on there. You guys I know all the people that watch me, you guys are so creative with some of your thoughts. I'm always curious what you guys think on how Halloween Kills should end, especially assuming that Halloween Ends most likely will take place on the same night. All right, here we go. Nightmare Gaming. Do you think Ben Tramer will return in Halloween Kills or Ends? I believe it would be Ends because there's too much characters in Kills, and I think he would be in Ends to protect Laurie and Allison. Well, a couple of things here. One, we have to remember that the Ben Tramer that we saw get hit by the cop car doesn't exist because Halloween 2 does not exist. But Laurie obviously mentioned Ben Tramer, and she had a crush on him in the OG. So will he return in Halloween Kills? I agree with you that he won't return in Halloween Kills. Like you said, there's too many characters. There's already way too much going on. But Halloween Ends, maybe. It depends how much fan service they really want to do, which, as we know from 2018 and from the characters that we know are coming back in Halloween Kills, they're doing a lot of fan service. So I wouldn't put it past them to have, Ben Tramer be Allison's dad, or maybe Jimmy be Allison's dad. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of neutral on if I would like that or not. It all depends on how it's executed. But for me, I guess I really don't care if there's a character named Ben Tramer, just for while I'm sitting in the theater, just to go, oh, okay, Ben Tramer. Like, what's the point? But yeah, I wouldn't put it past him at all. Let's see what else we got here. Poppy's here. How you doing, Poppy? Poppy says, love the background, Nick. I think Halloween 5 is a travesty. Yes, Halloween 5 is a goddamn travesty, Poppy. And thanks. Yeah, my background's a work in progress. As you can see, I got a new mask. I got a Halloween 2018 mask, and then I'm kind of trying to create a Ghost Bob mask. I got to fix the glasses a little bit. It didn't turn out as good as I hoped. And I'm not that creative, to be honest, with shit like that. So I'll get it figured out. But yeah, I appreciate that. Brandon says the footage was found, I think, in a Los Angeles 35 millimeter film vault. Okay, you must be talking about the H5 footage. Interesting, very interesting. I don't see why they wouldn't show it then. Look, the footage from H5 is not going to be something that changes how any of us feel about the movie. Even if you're a fan of the movie, I don't think it's going to make you like it any better. But as a fan of the Halloween franchise, I love seeing behind the scenes shit. I love seeing, deleted scenes and all kinds of stuff, even for Halloween 5. So yeah, I'd be very interested to see that. All right, let's see. Travis and Lana says it'll be heartbreaking to see the Meeker death. Then we lose all hope. Yeah, Meeker died. The Man in Black killed him, right? I don't think we actually see it. But when Jamie is walking into the police station and you see the bars all charred and Michael gone, which, as much as it pains me to say this, was actually kind of a cool scene. I believe if you pause at the right moment, you can see Meeker's body. So yeah, there's a lame way for him to go for a badass, cool character. Let's see here. Brandon says, well, in his Blu-ray commentary for H2, Rob said that he wanted Dr. Loomis to be a true Hollywood sellout to LA or something. Okay. Yeah, I could see that. Like I said, it's not Malcolm's fault. I get that you don't want it to be a carbon copy of the original series, and for that to happen, Loomis cannot be the same exact character. And to be honest, it's probably realistic. You have some famous, you're a doctor, a psychiatrist, you have some famous patient now that went on a killing spree. What are you going to do? You're going to write a goddamn book, just like, Gale Weathers did in the Scream series. So yeah, it's realistic. I guess I just don't like them fucking with a character that I love so much, but it is what it is. It doesn't take away from the original version of Loomis. So I should probably just get over it, right? Let's see here. What do we got here? Back to the Crypt says, would you prefer Brian Andrews as Tommy Doyle over Anthony Michael Hall? Well, this might surprise you, but no, I would not. And that's simply because Brian Andrews has not acted in a long, long time. And Anthony Michael Hall, whether you like his performances or not, is a pretty decent actor. I am pretty confident that at worst he will be a believable Tommy Doyle. And he actually looks like Tommy could growing up. I never believed that Paul Rudd was the same character as Tommy was in the OG Halloween. I never believed that. And I'm mixed on Rudd's performance. I know a lot of people love it and a lot of people hate it. It's whatever to me. I just think it's weird. But yeah, I'd actually prefer Anthony Michael Hall. I prefer what we got over Brian Andrews, just because the quality of acting. All right. Jacqueline McEwen. Hey, Jacqueline says, I totally agree that Chris Duran's performance seemed forced. Instead of just walking, it seemed like he was trying too hard to walk like a bad guy. Yes. Spot on, Jacqueline. Agreed. John Bruce is in the house. Hey, John. Let's see. Travis and Lana says, Tommy Doyle goes out like a hero, sets up all the other characters to make a heroic stand, including Lania Lamb. You must be answering my question on how Halloween Kills should end. Tommy Doyle goes out like a hero and sets up all the other characters to make a heroic stand, including Lania Lamb. I wouldn't mind that. I don't think they'll do it. I have no knowledge on if Anthony Michael Hall signed up for, just this one picture or if he signed a 2-picture deal. He's not doing much these days, to be honest. So I don't think that they would kill him off. But I wouldn't mind that. It's all in the execution. I am very interested to see Tommy's first reaction or first encounter in this new timeline with the Shape, just because Tommy is the one that saw him across the street, in my favorite image and maybe movie history, but certainly horror history, where Tommy, Deborah Hill actually playing the Shape, Tommy sees him across the street. So I am very interested to see Tommy confront the Shape or see the Shape and see his reaction. Maybe it'll be the same as Paul Rudd's reaction in Halloween 6. When they're in the hospital, and he's trying to break the doorknob, where he's just like, So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Tommy dying to save everyone, it's not a bad idea. I personally think they'll kill off Karen in a similar way, but we'll see. Let's see what else we got here. All right. Norbert Rice says, H5 or Rob Zombie's Halloween 1? Oh, that's a tough question, Norbert. That is a tough question. So I would take Rob Zombie's Halloween 1, and I can't believe I'm saying that. And the reason is, as a remake, I hated that they gave him a backstory. I hated the hick hillbilly shit. I hated it all. Hated all that. But H5 just has so many unforgivable mistakes, and it's just not caring. At least Zombie tried something different. Yes, you can make the case that H5 tried something different, all right, but it's just a slap in the face different. Where Zombie, it's 2007 at this point. They're rebooting the entire franchise, and it's Rob Zombie, so you kind of know what you're getting into with that. So I would take Rob Zombie's Halloween. All right, let's see what we got here. Jake Blaster Productions says, can't wait to see Brackett in Kills. Yes, that should be a good scene. I know we've seen the picture of Lee Brackett, what's his name, Charles Cyphers, in what looked like a hospital security uniform. So it'll be very interesting. I mean, I would think they have to have a conversation between Brackett and Laurie in the hospital, right? Why else make him a security guard at the hospital if he's not going to have some type of interaction with Laurie? So I hope they have an interaction, and I hope they talk about Annie and how they're both so sad about, that, Annie's been dead for 40 years now and Michael's still on the loose now. So I can't wait to see that conversation. It might be a good moment of, calmness in the movie, because Halloween Kills, from what I gather, being on the same night, being called Halloween Kills, is going to be kind of a balls to the wall slasher sequel. So there's got to be some moments where you can just kind of calm down for a bit. So a scene between Brackett and Laurie in the hospital would kind of do that, in my opinion. Norbert Wright says, I read Danielle Harris wants to come back. Not sure if she understands the current storyline. Yeah, I just read that too, Norbert. Look, Danielle Harris, I love Danielle Harris. Love her performance as Jamie. I've liked her in a lot of other minor things she's done, like Roseanne and Urban Legends. I love Danielle Harris. I loved her in the zombie remakes, but she doesn't know what she's talking about. She was done dirty with Halloween 6. I agree, but I feel like they kind of made it up to her by letting her play Annie Brackett. So time to just let it die. I'm one of the few people that say I don't want Danielle Harris even in a cameo because it would just be distracting, or some people say they want Danielle Harris to be the long lost daughter of Laurie Strode to show up as Jamie Lloyd again. Come on, guys. It's not going to happen, number one. Number two, if it did happen, that would be stupid because it wouldn't be the same Jamie Lloyd. So Danielle Harris, I love you, but you got to get over it. Pete says, stop by to say hello. Can't wait for Kills and IMAX. It's going to be fantastic. Yes, the IMAX portion I am excited for. Look, it's going to cost a few more bucks to see it. Oh, well, I think it'll be worth it. They didn't have to do this for us. I think it was kind of their way of saying sorry. I am not an IMAX expert, but from what I hear, it definitely makes the experience that much better. Even just the sound alone, from what I hear. So yeah, let's see how it looks. It should be exciting. Let's see. Who's next here? Jake Blaster Productions. They needed a veteran actor as Tommy for what they're going to be asking of the character. Brian Andrews would not have been able to handle the role. Yep, 100% agree. 100% agree. Brian Andrews, look, he was good as young Tommy Doyle. Even if he wanted to, like Jake Blaster Productions says, he wouldn't be able to handle it. So, you got to pay the man, pay Anthony Michael Hall. All right. Hold on. I just lost my place here. 1 second. Big D's Entertainment says, what are your thoughts on Kyle Richards returning as Lindsay Wallace in Halloween Kills? Good question. Well, I do not watch the Real Housewives of Orange County or whatever the hell it is. I don't even know if it's Orange County. I don't watch that, believe it or not. But yeah, so I've seen pictures of her. She obviously, is pretty attractive for her age. So she passes that test. She didn't turn into some whatever. I don't know if she can act. I know Jamie Lee Curtis has praised her performance. Let's hope that that is true. But what's Jamie going to say? Oh, she was terrible. That's poor marketing. So yeah, we'll see. I don't really have too many thoughts on it. It'll depend on what they do with her character. If she has some major role, like more than 15 minutes of screen time, 20 minutes of screen time, and a lot of dialogue, I maybe would say that they should have gotten someone else. But it's good fan service. I mean, I get it. I get it. She's still prominent in Hollywood, kind of. So I think it's kind of cool, to be honest with you. Let's see. John Bruce says, why don't Halloween fans clamor for the kid who played 6-year-old Michael Myers to come back and play the Shape? Yes. Yes, that kid. What's funny is I don't know anyone. I don't know that kid's name. I couldn't tell you his name. I bet you if I heard his name, I wouldn't even know, which is interesting because I researched so much shit about this franchise. Brian Andrews, Kyle Richards. There's so many things, but I don't know that actor's name. He's obviously, 50 years old or so now. So that's interesting. Robert Shaw, how you doing, buddy? Says, imagine the massacre that would have happened if the Wallace's neighbors would have let Laurie in instead of turning off their porch lights. Ooh, very interesting thought. Yeah, that always bothered me that, she's, what are you doing? Help me. She's pounding, help me. And, they turn the lights on and then they turn them off. Yeah, that would be interesting, kind of choose your own adventure there. Who are those people? Is it just a lady that lives there? Is it a husband and a wife? Maybe it's a family of 5 kids. Holy shit, imagine that. God, that'd be very interesting. Yes, I like that thought. Very interesting. Because we know one thing, the Shape wouldn't have stopped. And he went, if there were kids in there, he wouldn't have gave a shit. So that would have been very cool to see. Let's see here. Here we go. Flashback time. Jake Blaster Production says the Myers house, the mask, and the overall look and feel have to be spot on for the flashback. I agree completely. I am still scared of this flashback, especially if it's as long as, from what I'm hearing, it might be, which is longer than I originally thought. It scares the shit out of me. Like you said, Mike, the Myers house, the mask, and the overall look and feel have to be spot on. Look, I don't want to be watching Halloween 1978 and start thinking, oh shit, this is where the flashback happened. Oh God, that mask, it kind of looks like it. I guess that kind of looks like the same mask from 1978. I guess that looks like the same Shape. I don't want to be doing that, because otherwise, don't fucking do a flashback. Like, I get that maybe it's necessary for the story they want to tell, then tell a different story. If they ruin the timeline of what happened that night in 1978, I'm going to be pissed off. And I'm not trying to be some fanboy, with fanboy expectations and shit like that. That's not what I'm trying to do here, but the flashback scares the shit out of me. That being said, I'm excited to see it. Just as a fan, I'm excited to see it. More story. If they get it right, it could be fucking awesome. If they get it right, I guarantee the hairs on my neck will stand up and I will have goosebumps just because it'll be that cool. But that's a lot of pressure right there. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's right. Oh, Jake Blaster Productions says Will Sandlin was the kid who played 6-year-old Michael in 78. Okay, that does sound familiar. Maybe it's familiar from just IMDb or something, from looking up 78 on IMDb, but that's right. You're right. Back to the Crypt says, should Judith's boyfriend come back? let's see. You figure he was 17 in 1963. So that means he was born in what, 46 ish? So 54 and 18 is 72. Okay, he's not dead yet. He's not Mr. Riddle. I don't know. It depends on the story. I don't think it wouldn't. I wouldn't put it past them for him to have him come back. I'll say that. What his role would be, I don't know. Maybe just some exposition, or if it's just going to be some exposition dump, or just because we already got too many characters coming back. It's unnecessary. So I wouldn't bring him back unless, I don't know. Without knowing what the story is going to be about, it's hard to say, but I say no, don't bring him back. It's unnecessary. Let's see. Let's see what else we got here. Poppy says, Nick, what's your favorite Carpenter film? I love The Thing, 1982. I actually just watched The Thing on Saturday night, actually. Just as good as I remember. Favorite Carpenter film. I love The Thing. That's probably number 2. But it's going to be Halloween 78. I'm a fan of a lot of Carpenter's films. There's also some that are just weird. So Ghost of Mars, Ghost on Mars, Ghost of Mars, I was not a fan of. I actually fell asleep in the theater, but I was a teenager too. But a big fan of They Live, actually. I thought that was a cool film. And, Rowdy Piper is good in that. But favorite Carpenter film is going to be Halloween 78, as boring as that sounds. Let's see here, guys. Pete, how you doing, buddy? Says if flashback is very long, the movie could be over 1 hour 45 minutes. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how long this movie is. I'm probably in the minority here. I don't want a 2-hour movie. I just don't. Give me a typical 90 minutes. Tell your story and get out. There's no reason for the flashback to be 20 minutes long. Like, there's no reason for that. Same thing. Tell what you want to tell and get out. If it's 5 minutes, that's probably pushing it. I would probably only do about 3 or 4 minutes. But from what I know about these guys, they're ambitious. They wanted to change the ending of 1978 Halloween in 2018. So all bets are off with these guys. Travis and Lana says, you mean Judith's boyfriend, Deputy Hunt? Yes. Yes, I've heard that before too. That the kid that 1 Minute Man, Judith's boyfriend, looks exactly like Deputy Hunt does later. That's pretty funny. All right. Nightmare Gaming says, I think Halloween Kills will end with Karen getting killed by Michael, and Allison sees her body with the shape staring at Allison, but then she screams and it ends right there. So here's the thing with that. Number one, I agree with you that I think Karen dies in this movie. And normally I would probably think you might be spot on, but I'm a little bit thrown off kilter with what David Gordon Green said. Was it David Gordon Green? No, it was Blum. What Jason Blum said about this movie not ending on a cliffhanger. And that actually sounds like a cliffhanger. So I don't know what Blum means by that, because if it's going to take place on the same night, it's got to end on some kind of cliffhanger. The night is going to continue. So it'll be interesting to see how it ends. I personally wouldn't mind what you said right there. Up the stakes and get everyone even more pumped for Halloween Ends. And you gotta kill off somebody that people care about. And Karen's the most logical choice, in my opinion. Brandon says, I also love Christine and the strange action comedy that is Big Trouble in Little China. Ghost of Mars stinks, but I still got the Blu-ray for him last year. Christine's a good movie. Christine's got an amazing score too. And Big Trouble in Little China, I gotta see that again. I love Kurt Russell. I love Kurt Russell. He's probably in my top 5 favorite actors of all time. I haven't seen Big Trouble in Little China in so long. So I got to revisit that. Speaking of Kurt Russell, John Bruce says my favorite Carpenter films are Halloween and Escape from New York. Yes, you gotta love Escape from New York. Snake. Let's see what else we got here. Jake Blaster Productions says they also have to be careful with how they handle Loomis in the flashback. Yes. If you haven't heard, it's basically common knowledge by now. Hasn't been, I don't think it's been officially confirmed. But like I said, it's common knowledge right now that Dr. Loomis is actually going to be in the flashback. And yes, I agree. They have to be very careful how they handle him. I don't think though they will go with Peter Cushing in Rogue One. Was it Rogue One? Was it Rogue One or was it? I think it was Rogue One. I don't think they'll go with the Peter Cushing, not de-aging, but the Peter Cushing CGI Loomis, because quite frankly, that's expensive as hell. And Halloween Kills, they'd waste way too much of their budget on that, especially if they're going to have a huge fire at Laurie's house. That's going to take up a lot of the budget too. But how they film it and how they handle it will be very interesting. My guess is they have to kind of just show like half of his body from the side, show the trench coat, and have the guy who did the voice impression of him in 2018, say some stuff, or maybe they use some of the audio from Halloween 2, 1981, when Loomis sees Brackett and he's like, I shot him 6 times. He's not human. I shot him in the heart. Maybe something like that. Who knows? But yeah, I don't want too much of Loomis in the flashback, even though I usually can't get enough of Loomis. It just scares me. Let's see. Here we go. Norbert Rice says an ending without a cliffhanger could be something similar to Friday 3 and 4 with Michael dying, but just getting back up. It works for me. Yeah, that could be an option. So if you're not a huge Friday the 13th fan, basically Jason gets killed for all intents and purposes at the end of Friday 3. He gets hit in the head with an axe. And then in Friday 4, he wakes up in the morgue. So yeah, it could be something similar to that. That would not be a cliffhanger. That would actually work, Norbit. Would it be the best choice? I don't know, but based on what Jason Blum said, it's definitely an option. It's good thinking there. Tommy Quinn. Hey, Nick, how's it going? Hey, Tommy. Let's see here. I'm going to go for another 15 minutes or so, guys. Just going to see what else we got going in the chat. How do you guys think Halloween Kills should begin? Obviously, do you think that they should show Michael escape? Let's see here. All right, Travis and Lana, Mr. Sandman or Don't Fear the Reaper? I love Mr. Sandman. Love it, but Don't Fear the Reaper by far. Classic song, classic. And it just, every time I hear it, I picture them listening, Lori and Annie in the car, smoking weed. And then all of a sudden, boom, you see the station wagon pull up right behind them or turn right behind them. It's cool. So Don't Fear the Reaper is the answer for me there. Let's see what else we got going on here, guys. Brian Swanson. Hey, Brian. In the previews of Halloween Kills that we saw, Lonnie was trick-or-treating that night. But in the original 1978, he was creeping around the Myers house till Loomis scared him. That's true. I guess it would depend on how logical is that. So I guess it would depend on the time frame of when Loomis scared him away from the Myers house. Was it 7 o'clock? Obviously we know at the end of October, especially with daylight savings time in the Midwest, it gets dark pretty early. So maybe it was 6:30, but most likely it was probably 7 or 8 o'clock. 78, they probably had trick-or-treating at night, maybe go till 9, maybe. It could work. It's a little bit sketchy, you're right, Brian. But I guess we're just going to suspend our disbelief. But yeah, that is interesting. And he's by himself. So Loomis scared him off. And then what, he went and grabbed his pumpkin to go trick-or-treating. Interesting. So yeah, we'll see what they do with it. Travis and Lana says, so what is Michael's middle name, do you think? Audrey from the TV version, or something with an M from the report Hoffman is typing in H4? Yes, I always noticed that. It always bothered me in H4 when Hoffman's typing that report, Michael M, and then, Loomis walks in and, says, why wasn't I notified? About what? You let them take it out of here. Oh, for Christ's sake, spare me the speech. I've been listening to it for a decade. The fact is, Michael Myers was a federal patient, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I went off on a tangent there just because I love those Loomis scenes in H4. I always just assumed it was Audrey, but maybe it's not. That's the thing with these sequels. And even Halloween 4 got so much right, but then just little shit like that. But here's the thing with a lot of these sequels. They make these sequels and they don't anticipate fans like us 30 some years later looking at every minor detail about it. So there's certain things like Halloween 5 that they should have known better. Clown cop music, Myers house, all that shit. They should have known better, right? But a little M, as much as it has always bothered me, it's not the end of the world. They didn't know that there's going to be YouTube channels, where anyone can, get on camera and get a microphone and just dissect every little thing. So I'll give them a little bit of a pass for that. But I'm not giving H5 a pass at all. Pete says Halloween Kills should begin with a flashback. Ooh, that would be interesting. Someone commented on one of my videos the other day with a similar thought. Might have been you, Pete. And I do find that intriguing. Will they do it? I don't know. My guess is that the flashback will occur one of the flashbacks will occur when we run into adult Lonnie Lamb, and then he mentions to Cameron or whoever's in that scene that I saw him once. I saw 40 years ago. I saw him, and then boom, to the flashback. That'd be my guess. But the flashback beginning of the movie would be interesting. My guess is they'll show Michael escaping from the fire, and then boom, Halloween Kills. All right. Nightmare Gaming says, I also think Halloween Ends will end with Michael trapping Laurie and himself in the Myers house, and he burns the room and having them both fight and both get killed at the end while the house burns. That'd be an interesting idea. I think ending Halloween Ends with Laurie dying and basically sacrificing herself to kill the shape, to destroy the evil, to end the boogeyman's reign, whatever you want to say. I think that is logical, and I think that would make sense, especially if it's save, either her daughter or her granddaughter or whatever. I think that makes sense. John Bruce says, Nick, what do you think about Halloween Ends finishing with Michael floating down the river and he finds a hermit house? Yes, John. Yes. Mark that down. Put that in pen and let's make that happen. I hope they do that, because then I will never watch another goddamn Halloween movie ever again. Just kidding, I won't. Yeah, and he should wear a big life jacket too and have a different mask than he was wearing before that. Oh God, that scene is just ridiculous. John's talking about the scene at the beginning of H5 after Michael crawls out of the mine shaft. But yes, let's make that happen, John. Let's see here. Tommy Quinn. Hey, Tommy says, do you think the score will be better than the original score in Kills? I don't think it will be better than the original score, but I do think it will be very, very good. I loved the score in Halloween 2018. I thought it was excellent. I thought John and his son Cody Carpenter did a great job. My only complaint about the score was the song or the track, The Shape Hunts Allison. I think it's Hunts Allison. The Shape Hunts Allison only played for a few seconds, and that's my favorite track on that whole score. And to be honest, that scene should have played out a lot longer. But that's my only gripe with that. So I have a lot of confidence that the score to this movie will be good. It would be kind of cool maybe to see a mixture of the Halloween 2018 score with some of the Halloween 2 1981 score. See if they can kind of weave that together a little bit. I don't know how realistic that would be, but I think it would be worth exploring. And maybe it's something you explore or you try to weave together and it just doesn't work and they gotta, go back to the drawing board. But I do have a lot of confidence in the score to this movie. Let's see here. Jacqueline McEwen says, for that river scene in H5, all that was missing was some Benny Hill music. Yes, I agree, Jacqueline. That was just just comical beyond belief. All right, guys, another 5 minutes or so. And we are going to keep, just before I answer a few more questions or talk about a few more things, I'm going to keep these Tuesday night live streams going throughout October, and then we'll kind of see where we're at as far as if it's something we want to continue. I had to stop for a while because I was studying for a CPA exam. And if anyone's taken a CPA exam or you know anything about CPA exams, they're scarier than the goddamn shape. They're a bitch. So it was kind of a nightmare, and I had to devote all my attention to that. I probably failed anyway, but who the hell knows? But anyway, I want to keep this going at least through the month of October, and then we'll see where we're at. Because I want to stay in the Halloween mood for the Halloween season. All right. John Bruce says, I think Michael will kill all returning characters, Allison and her mother in Kills. So let's get this. Let me think this through. So you think he'll kill all of them? So you think he'll kill like Tommy and Lindsay and Brackett? That'd be interesting. It would be kind of cool to, you bring all these characters back and then Michael just kills them all. I wouldn't mind that. From what we can decipher from a couple of things, from the name of the movie being Halloween Kills and from it being, set in 2018, there's going to be a lot of goddamn kills in this movie, probably more than any other Halloween movie we've ever seen. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of kills. Will they be characters that we care about? That remains to be seen. Or will it just be, a bunch of random characters, or, like Lania Lamb and Cameron and, the nurse from 2018. So that'll be very, very interesting to see how many returning characters survive. So I'm with you on that, though. Back to the Crypt says, what role do you think Haddonfield Memorial will play in Halloween Ends? I think it will. I don't think it will be like Halloween 2, 1981, where the whole movie takes place in Haddonfield Memorial. I don't think they'll go that route, especially from what we've seen of, Tommy behind the scenes footage of Tommy, holding a baseball bat, and it looks like a bunch of vigilantes are looking for Michael. Not that they couldn't still, have them looking in the wrong spots and stuff like that. But I think what they'll do is they'll have, they'll cut to it a few times. They'll have Laurie and Brackett there talking. They'll have Laurie and Hawkins there talking. Because yes, it looks like Hawkins has survived based on the teaser we got at the end of July. And then I think the movie may end there. But other than that, I don't think it's going to play as big of a role as some people might. I would say maybe 15, 20 minutes. I think it'll be more on the streets of Haddonfield and more with the Myers house. But I do hope it plays a decent role because, like I said, I'm a huge fan of Halloween 2, 1981. Let's see. A couple more, guys. Let's see. Norbit says the sound effect in 2018 when Michael appears is awesome. The one with the violin bow ran across the electric guitar. Yes, it is. It is really cool. You can tell they put a lot of care into the sound effects, which is what I was kind of saying with the care. Like, as much as I have issues with 2018, trust me, I have many issues with it. I am confident in the next two movies being at the very least serviceable because of things like that, that we're missing from a lot of the later sequels. So yeah, I'm very happy with the score of 2018, and I'm very confident that the score in Halloween Kills and for that matter Halloween Ends will be good. Brian Swanson says, "Do you think they will show past treatment of Myers from Sartain, possibly from the insights of Nurse Marion?" Yes, that's another person that we haven't talked about is Nurse Chambers. God, I hope they don't. I really hope they don't show past treatments of him from Sartain. I thought Sartain was an interesting character. I thought the fact that they just used him as a plot point to get to Laurie was dumb. And I thought that him putting on the mask was blasphemy. That really just, it infuriated me so much. So I hope we don't. But to be honest, I would not be absolutely shocked if they did, especially if they're doing some kind of flashbacks. But yeah, we'll see. Nightmare Gaming says, "Do you think Michael will get a new mask in Halloween Ends? Not in Kills, because I think they should save that for Ends, because his old mask may have rotted or gotten lost at the end of Kills." I think they'll keep the same mask. From what we saw in the teaser and from what I've heard, is it the right side? One of the sides, I think it might be the left, but anyway, one of the sides of the mask is completely burnt. So if Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends both take place on the same night as 2018, I don't see how he wouldn't just be wearing the same mask. It's possible he could go into a store, or like you said, it's rotting, so he needs to get rid of it. But they made such a big deal about that particular mask in Halloween 2018, the say something, they made such a big deal about that mask kind of, for lack of a better term, awakening him, that they'll have the same, they'll use the same mask, no doubt about it. So yeah, I don't see him getting a new mask, but you never know. Maybe something crazy happens in Halloween Kills that we don't know about, or that I haven't thought of, or you guys haven't thought of. So yeah, anything's possible, but I don't see it happening. All right, Tommy Quinn says, "I hope we get another short teaser trailer this month." I would be absolutely shocked if we got nothing this month, whether it's a teaser trailer, whether it's a teaser poster, whether it's kind of similar to what we got last October, which was like a sizzle reel with a bunch of like different quick cuts. I think we will get something. I don't think it's going to be a full trailer, because it doesn't make sense from a marketing standpoint. I know I get people arguing with me all the time saying, but if they could do this and then just do another trailer, it makes sense. It gets people excited. Look at us, guys. We're already excited for it. A trailer coming out. A trailer is look, guys, a trailer is for people that are not like us for the most part. All right. It's for the common casual fan. And the common casual fan is not going to be sitting waiting for Halloween Kills for a year. They're just not. So the marketing campaign will start a few months, maybe a little more. Maybe they'll ramp it up a little more this time, but it'll start a few months before the movie comes out. So they'll give us something, but it's not going to be a full trailer. So yeah, that is going to be it for me tonight, guys. I want to thank everyone for showing up. You guys are awesome. I love talking Halloween Kills with you guys. If you haven't yet, do me a favor, subscribe to this channel. Like I said, I'm going to be having a Halloween video or some type of horror video every single day this month. So I'm excited to do that. I am excited for Tuesday night live streams. I'll get the next topic up in a few days here, so you guys can come up with some ball busting questions for me. But like I said, I appreciate you guys watching. And if you haven't, do me a favor and subscribe. And thanks. And you guys have a great night.